You're listening to Straight Outta Stratford 203 with Zach and Julian, the best sports podcast in Connecticut. Sit back and enjoy the ride in 3, 2, 1.
Straight Outta Stratford, slinging takes like Stafford, talking all the big games, have a beer right after. When it comes to the facts and the stats we provide, better know that our names will be up in the rafters.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Straight Outta Stratford podcast, episode number 32. I'm your host, Zach, along with my co-host,
Julian. What's going on?
And what a week we had. When one sport ends, another one begins. We saw the end of the NFL season. The Super Bowl is over. Seattle is up on top. But we're going to end with that at the end of the show. But at the beginning of the show, we'll start off with the sport that is officially underway now, and that is the MLB is officially back. Pitchers and catchers reported back to practice for the first time on Tuesday. We also had a couple big signings that took place right before the season is officially going to be underway. Couple trades as well as a few releases, which I was kind of surprised by. We'll kind of breeze through a few of them. We're going to talk about most of the major ones that did go through. So obviously, to really kick off the week, you had the Brewers and Red Sox engaging in a 6-player trade, as we saw Caleb Durbin, Andrew Monasterio, and Anthony Ziegler traded to the Boston Red Sox in exchange for Kyle Harrison, David Hamilton, and a left-handed pitching prospect, Shane Drohan. Obviously, this is a big signing for the Red Sox. They add another versatile infielder who actually had a pretty decent year last year. He was batted .256 with 11 home runs. He had 53 RBIs and a 7.21 OPS.
Yeah, but you know what they're continuing to become?
They are continuing to become what?
The Boston Yankees.
The Boston Yankees. Okay.
Because Caleb Durbin was sent to Milwaukee in the trade for Devin Williams.
Devin Williams. Okay. Yeah, see,
So-
and I was kind of surprised that they moved Kyle Harrison as well, too. I know Harrison came over from the San Francisco Giants. I believe it was in the Rafael Devers trade. And they had a lot of hope for him, and a lot of people were saying how good he was going to be as a prospect. And they move off of him already. It's a fairly quick turnover. I was kind of surprised by that whole thing.
What I meant was continuing to become the Boston Yankees, is that they're continuing to acquire players that Durbin never played for the Yankees, like in the major league system, in the major leagues, but he was in their farm system, and he was a top 10 prospect for them. So top 10 or top 15.
Well, I still think it's a very good addition for Boston too. Obviously,
I know
they're fairly well built.
I know. Durbin is gonna completely rake against the Yankees this year. I can already tell.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's usually the way that it goes. You also saw Marcell Ozuna sign a 1-year, $12 million deal with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I was kind of surprised by that one.
So
I think it's a sneaky good move.
I think it's a good move, but you know what that also means? McCutchen's not going back to Pittsburgh.
Probably not. I wouldn't be surprised. To be honest, I thought he was going to end up retiring. I'm surprised he hasn't already.
I think he wanted to play one more year.
Yeah, I know he was hinting at retiring. I just don't know whether.
Does he have 500 career home runs?
500? No.
No, 300?
Probably closer to there, yeah. I don't even know if he's at 300, but it's definitely not 500.
I think he might be trying to get to that milestone. I think he's close to 300.
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if some team takes out a waiver on him and just tries to bring him in, because he still is a pretty valuable piece. The veteran leadership that he's
bring him
had.
back to the Yankees.
Yeah, it could be I wouldn't be surprised to see either New York team try and go after him, because that's the one thing that a lot of teams look for.
I remember that was the most random trade I've ever seen that day. I'm looking at my phone, and I see the Yankees acquire Andrew McCutchen from the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, well, it would have been nicer if that happened a couple of years earlier than when they got him. He was obviously towards the end of his career. Well, I wouldn't say end of his career, but he's later in end of his prime when he finally got to the Yankees.
Yeah.
So that would have been
that would have been amazing if they got Andrew McCutchen 3 or 4 years earlier.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, well, he was a hell of a player earlier in his career too.
Kutch.
So. Yeah,
Captain Kutch.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what ends up happening with him, but now they at least replace him with a little bit of a power bat. Had 21 home runs and 68 RBIs, 756 OPS with the Braves last season.
Now I guess you could say he's Ozuna from the Pirates.
Yeah, now he's Ozuna from the Pirates, and it was originally Ozuna from the Marlins, and then and then it was Ozuna from the Braves, and
Ozuna from the Cardinals.
And Ozuna from the Cardinals.
He was before the Braves.
Yeah, no, but he's been bounced around, but I think that's a fairly decent signing. Obviously, the batting average may not be
I
as
only
sparkling.
said that because when he got pulled over,
I'm
Ozuna from the Braves.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was
Not a good look.
No, not a good look at all. Then we also saw Jonah Heim sign a 1-year, $1.25 million deal with the Atlanta Braves.
I think this is a good contract.
I think it's a good contract.
I think it's a great contract because Jonah Heim was an all-star a few years ago. He's a switch hitting catcher.
Yep.
And they have an aging Sean Murphy who's 35, 36 maybe.
Do they still have Travis d'Arnaud, or did he leave?
No, I think he left.
Yeah.
He might have retired.
I don't know if he retired.
And Jonah Heim is only like 30 years old, 28. He's in the age range of 28 to 30 years old, and he's a switch hitting catcher.
Yeah,
you don't get that nowadays anymore.
Yeah, it's the only reason why I'm a little, I wouldn't say skeptical about the trade, but I think it's definitely something to be a tiny bit concerned about. Is his batting average is still fairly low. He was only batting .213 last year. Obviously, that can change. He was an all-star, like you mentioned, a few seasons ago. So he's still got a lot of upside to him.
Exactly.
I think he's a very good fielding catcher as well, too. So definitely not a bad signing for Atlanta to kind of pick him up just in case and add him as a depth catcher into their lineup. Then you also saw Jordan Montgomery sign a similar deal, 1 year, $1.25 million with the Texas Rangers. He makes his return now. Obviously, he did play for the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2024, ended up struggling a little bit. And ended up having to get Tommy John surgery, so he did miss all of last year, and he's expected to join the Rangers later on this season, but he was part of the team when the Rangers did win the World Series in 2023. He was a very big piece, so it will be nice to see him kind of make his return back to Texas.
That was just a joke. I don't think the Rangers are making the World Series.
Well, no, I doubt it, but hey, you never know. Baseball's a pretty incredible sport for that reason. You never really know what's going to happen. I mean, we already have our predictions lined up for who's going to end up making the World Series, and there's a few favorites by far, but again, you never know. Moves can always be made, injuries happen for a reason, so you never know what could happen. A couple other signings. You had Evan Phillips sign a 1 year, $6.5 million deal to return to the Dodgers. Another one sustained an injury in May of 2025. He needed Tommy John, but he will be back with the team rehabbing this season. So I don't know when he returns, but he'll be back at some point.
Evan Phillips was a guy a few years ago who I wanted the Yankees to go out and get. Even, I'm pretty sure you wanted the Mets to go out and get him. Because,
I did.
Because Evan Phillips a few years ago was one of the top relievers in the game.
Yeah, he had some very strong moments.
And then he kind of his career kind of started to, decline. And then he got hurt.
Yeah, and now they have
a better reliever, so they don't even need him anymore.
Well, no, they don't. But even before a little bit of the injury, his career was starting to fall off a tiny bit.
Yeah.
And they gave him a couple demotions, didn't really use him as much. I'm pretty sure he saw AAA with them as well. They ended up demoting him down. Had not been pretty for him, but again, if he can find his form that he once was at some point in his career, he will definitely be a decent piece to have in the bullpen for the Dodgers, which, already they have a loaded team, and their bullpen's already very good. So adding him back, if you can get him to a similar form that you once saw out of him, could be a fairly decent signing. Obviously not a crazy amount of money spent either. Former Yankee Gary Sanchez signed a 1 year, $1.7 million deal to return to the Milwaukee Brewers. He was with the Orioles in 2025. He only played 29 games, but he batted .231 with 5 home runs and 24 RBIs.
I think the last time he played a full year with the Brewers, he played very well.
Yeah, no, he had a fairly decent year, and I believe it was 2024 with the Brewers. He wasn't bad, but definitely not what we saw from him when he was catching for the New York Yankees. I think that was every time he
hit a home run, it was halfway up the bleachers in the field.
And he used to hit absolute nukes. So if he, again, another player, if he can find his form and just really start to contribute in the box again, they're probably going to use him at DH a little bit, I can imagine. And obviously he's going to be a backup catcher, so they're not going to incorporate him in the everyday lineup, but he will be there every once in a while too, so definitely a decent signing. The one that kind of shocked me was Chris Bassett signing his contract, 1 year, $18.5 million with the Baltimore Orioles.
That's a big signing.
That was a lot bigger of a signing than I thought it was. Obviously,
I didn't think Bassett was going to get 18.5.
Well, no, it's not even that. I was kind of surprised that Toronto lets him leave, especially after. He had an okay year last year. Obviously, they make the World Series.
I think their excuse for letting Bassett go is, haha, we got Dylan Cease.
Well, yeah, I definitely think that had something to do with it, but you also got to look into it. He had a 3.96 ERA last year. Obviously not
the best.
Not the best, but during the postseason, he had a 1.04 ERA. And that's when you really need somebody to step up, and he pitched fairly well during the playoffs. So I liked him when he was on the New York Mets. I really did. He was one of our better starters when he was there. I think that he's always had a very good arsenal, and I like the way that he is fairly consistent on the mound. Obviously, last year was not his best season during the regular season, but if he can maintain the postseason kind of play that he posted for the Blue Jays and translate that over to Baltimore, I think that he's going to be a very valuable piece in their rotation. Definitely should be a little bit better this year than what we've seen out of them in the past. So I'm curious to see how that one goes. And plus $18.5 million. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's also not like crazy expensive either.
I'm surprised that the Orioles aren't really known as a team to give out big money ever since the whole Chris Davis thing failed.
Yeah, that was a big one that kind of swayed them.
I'm kind of surprised that they even gave him this amount of money.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I mean, I was more shocked at the Alonso signing because they gave him a lot more money as well too, but again, like I said, Bassett has had very good moments in the MLB. He's been a fairly decent pitcher throughout his entire MLB career with multiple different programs and organizations. So I'm curious to see how it kind of pans out. I think it could be a very, very good signing. Obviously, we will see whether the $18.5 million for that season is going to be worth it or not. I'm going to take a guess and say it probably will be because you know what you're going to kind of get out of him. So
now,
again,
speaking of will players signing and returning be worth it, we see Max Muncy sign a 1-year, $10 million extension with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
You finished 2025 with a .243 batting average, 19 home runs, 16 RBIs, and an .846 OPS.
Yeah, he was with the Dodgers for, 8 seasons, I believe now, and obviously he's looking for his 4th World Series ring. He was with the team in 2020 when they won during the COVID season, and then obviously the back-to-back years that we've seen the Dodgers win the World Series. So now he's looking for ring number 4. Obviously, they are the favorites to win the World Series. What a shocker. Not really a surprise. And then they also signed Kike Hernandez back.
Enrique.
Which is a great signing for them. Obviously, 1 year, $4.5 million. Not bad for a utility guy like that. Finished the year with a .203 batting average, 10 home runs, 35 RBIs, but you know how he is. He may not put up the prettiest regular season, but when it comes time to postseason baseball, he's a completely different player, and his versatility is also going to come in clutch for them. You could put him pretty much anywhere in the field.
Except first base.
Except first base, and he's extremely good in the field. He can steal you some bases. He can have a little bit of pop and power to his bat as well. Like I said, mostly that comes out during the postseason. But he's going to be a guy that's going to generate some run support for the Dodgers pitchers. So
he was sent to Boston in the Mookie trade, right?
He may have been. Yeah, I think he was one of the pieces in that Mookie trade.
I think it was him, Verdugo, and Jeter Downs. And one other
that sounds
player.
about right.
And Connor Wong, I think.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. But yeah, no, like I said.
And then he went back to L.A.
Yeah.
After his
well,
contract was up.
you kind of had a feeling that L.A. was going to keep him anyway. I know there were rumors about them saying, oh, well, they're thinking about moving off of him because they're not going to really use him.
Kike's a vibes guy.
He is. He's a glue guy. He's going to be a guy, like I said, that, the versatility is going to bring. You're going to get a lot of good usage out of him because he can fill in anywhere you need him to. Except first base or catcher. But you could even put him on the mound, too. I remember he's pitched a couple times, too, late in games.
He pitched with the helmet on.
Yep. So definitely another decent signing. Now, the 3 big ones that, obviously, this is not in order, but we're going to talk about. These are the 3 more prevalent ones that I think have a lot more meaning to them, and there's some substance behind why.
We see I mean, I'm going to say potentially, but this is most likely a farewell tour for Justin Verlander.
Yep. Justin Verlander returns home to the Detroit Tigers, the team that first drafted him in 2004. Looks like it's probably going to be his last year. He is 42 years old, so it's kind of expected, especially seeing, Kershaw retire at the end of last season. Yeah. You kind of had a feeling that a couple of these guys are going to be going out. Verlander's the next one. I
wouldn't be surprised if Scherzer goes back to
Washington?
Yeah.
Maybe. It could happen, especially after
Detroit
they traded
as well.
Gore. Or it could go to Detroit. Well, that would be very interesting as well to see that.
Then he started in Detroit,
He
right?
did start in Detroit. Yes, that's correct. But yeah, Verlander didn't really have the greatest start of 2025. Not his best stuff. Second half of the year after the All-Star break, he went right back to prime form, proved that he can still be a significant starter in any rotation.
If he can be prime Verlander from out the gate, that rotation
is nasty.
I've been saying for a while that the Yankees could have one of the best rotations in the league, but so could Detroit.
Yeah, with Skubal, Valdez, and him as well.
And Flaherty.
They got some arms in their rotation. But yeah, no, he had 29 starts last season. Like I mentioned, first half of the year, not so pretty, but he posted a sub-3 ERA after the All-Star break. He looked a lot better than what we'd seen from him from the beginning of the season. So again, like we kind of mentioned, most likely going to be a farewell tour for him in Detroit, but again, he could also be a solid number 3 or 4 pitcher in the Tigers rotation, depending on how they start
maybe
out
even
next
5
year.
Guy, if they
well,
go get
maybe 5.
Else.
They probably will call up a prospect or end up making a move to get somebody else as well, but at least for the sake of right now, he's looking like either a 3 or 4 guy in the rotation, and that's a good guy to have if he could perform to the level that we saw out of him. Now, there is another move that we will talk about, obviously not to the same level, but still for the importance of your team. Paul Goldschmidt signs a 1-year, $4 million deal to return to the New York Yankees. Finished the year 274 batting average, 10 home runs, 45 RBIs, and a .731 OPS. Not a bad year, not a bad contract.
Not a bad year, not a bad contract, but I'm just upset because Cashman and Steinbrenner look at last season and they're like, you know what? Let's run it back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Goldschmidt obviously is a little older,
I'm not like saying that I'm not happy with the contract. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Goldie. He's a great guy, but you look at the how far they got, and you look at the roster that they're putting out there, and it is very, very obvious that they are banking on Garrett Cole coming back and being the piece they need to get to the World Series.
Is that you?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, maybe somebody outside.
I don't understand that. Like, I get it. Garrett Cole comes back, he's prime Cole. Then, you know what? There's a shot they go farther.
Maybe.
There's a shot. But
a lot of the moves have been very underwhelming, though. It's a lot of the same guys.
I think that they're going to see how they do in the first half, and then at the deadline,
you would hope.
I'm going to hope that they're going to be like, you know what? Cole's 35, 36. Judge is about to be 33.
Stanton's
35
plus.
I think he's 34, 35.
It's going to be 35. But still, you would hope that if this is what they're going to trot out onto the field next year, if they are competitive and they start getting guys back, I would not be surprised if they do make some moves. But again, it's the New York Yankees. You got to pray to the good Lord above that they decide to wake up from their slumber and start making some moves. You click the button.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, there's a little elbow move. Sorry about that. It's okay. It happens. But yeah, no, I like the Goldschmidt signing a lot. I think that, especially for a guy that's of his age, still batting .274, like we mentioned last year, the guy is going to get on base. He's going to put the ball in play.
Not to mention he's very good defensively, too.
Yeah, he's extremely good defensively, and the thing is, you don't need him to be your starter either.
No, you don't need him to be your starter at first base. What you can use him for is you can use him at first base maybe like 2 or 3 times a week, and then you could rotate Rice in at catcher. But
of course,
your main priority for Goldschmidt is to mentor Ben Rice and teach him how to properly play the position at first base.
Yeah.
If Goldschmidt can play first and show Rice that this is how you play first, this is how you play great defense, this is what you need to do, this is how you can fix your swing and whatnot, I think Ben Rice will be set up for success in the league. I'm not saying that he's not already had success.
Well, not to
the success that Paul Goldschmidt has, but
no.
I'm not sitting here saying that Ben Rice is a bum. Because
no, he's not. I know, yeah.
He's not like a Greg Bird.
No. He's not.
Greg Bird was supposed to be the next Mark Teixeira, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, so much for that. Much for that.
Yeah, but I'm just hoping that they finally do something right with something like that.
Well, you would hope. Well, speaking of doing something right, I got a little funny story that's going to end up coming from this next name, which we're going to talk about.
Well, is it what I think you're
I
talking
think you
about?
probably have an idea where I'm going with this. Well, the Phillies ended up releasing Nick Castellanos after a 4-year tenure. He is owed $20 million on the final year of his contract. He now becomes a free agent and is free to sign with anyone he chooses. This is a guy that I hope the Mets kind of go after. It'd be a nice little addition to their outfield because he's a pretty consistent player. He finished 2025 with a 250 batting average, 17 home runs, and 72 RBIs. Not a bad piece.
I don't know. There haven't been many tragedies this year.
Well, yeah, I know. That's when he usually thrives. But I guess another big reason why they cut him is also because he had a beer in the dugout during the Miami Marlins game when they benched him. He wrote that in a little letter to his farewell for his Philly fan or for the Philly faithful that he was basically, announcing his farewell. He announced that he was disciplined for bringing a beer into the dugout when he did get benched against Miami. Again, very questionable move.
I thought it was the clubhouse, not the.
No, it was the dugout. He even
And he
said
sat.
it was,
Yeah, I thought he said it was the clubhouse, and he sat next to the manager or something.
I heard that it was the actual dugout.
Well, I heard,
but
I heard that the Yankees were going to trade for him, and they were told not to because he brought a beer into the clubhouse and sat right next to the manager.
Well, I'll tell you what, beer or not, I hope that the Mets even take a waiver out on him. It would be worth it. I mean, you look at the outfield the way that they have it right now, and you have guys like Robert and Soto. They're not sure about whether or not Carson Benj is going to be your starting right fielder. They announced Soto's moving to left. So is Benj going to be your starting right fielder? Are you moving Robert to right and putting Benj in center? Are you going to roll with Tyrone Taylor? No one knows about what's going on with Starling Marte yet. So it's like I wouldn't mind it. I think that it would be a decent signing.
Even though they already have way too many of these, I think he would put up numbers at Yankee Stadium with the short porch.
Well, trust me, I doubt that they'll make the move for him unless they genuinely feel like this is the perfect opportunity for him to join, and they see him being used. No,
they were going to trade for him before the Phillies released him.
Yeah,
and they were told not to.
Well, if they decide to now, I don't think that's a bad signing for either New York team. I think that the Yankees could benefit from it. Again, I think that the Mets still could benefit more, but that's just me.
In all honesty, I mean, I don't know where he's going to sign.
Oh, I have no idea. I thought, to be honest with you, it was going to be him returning to the Phillies for at least that one more year. Because Philadelphia is not really, I would say, far from being in World Series contention. They've been fairly close.
I could see him going back to either Detroit.
Yeah, that could potentially be a move.
Or maybe Cincinnati.
Maybe. I don't know about Cincinnati. That one's a little bit further. I don't know where else I'd really see him going. The Dodgers, at this point, who knows? But yeah, like I said, I'd love to see him try and sign with them. Atlanta could be one. I'd love to see the Mets.
They got rid of Ozuna. They could probably use him.
Yeah, but I'd love to see him.
You know
what
would be hilarious?
I genuinely would.
You know what would be hilarious? If he signs with the Marlins.
Yeah.
He could bring another beer into the dugout.
Marlins, and he could bring a beer into the dugout in Miami. But exactly. So again, I'm curious to see what teams make a few calls on him. I wouldn't be surprised if both New York teams are in the mix to try and get him, especially if the Yankees wanted to trade for him. And like I said, with the Mets not really having a consistent right fielder right now, I could see it. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up going. I think that there's going to be teams that will show some interest. But the last thing we'll mention about the MLB before we kind of just go into a couple different things is we did see 3 injuries so far right at the beginning of spring training, a couple of them fairly serious, putting players in risk to miss opening day. That is Francisco Lindor, Corbin Carroll, and Jackson Holliday all had hamate injuries in their hands. It usually takes about 4 to 8 weeks for them to recover. So as of right now, all of them are at risk.
Didn't Lindor require surgery?
All of them did. Lindor and Carroll had their surgeries done 2 days ago on the 11th. Jackson Holliday had his done yesterday. So all of them have had successful surgeries. They are going to be rehabbing. The only question is is how severe will it be and will they miss opening day? Because on average, they say that it's usually 4 to 8 weeks, and most of the time it's about 6 to 7 weeks is the normal for when players come back from those injuries. Usually it's 8 is the maximum. So
You said the number.
stop it. So regardless, if they miss some time, it's going to be costly. Obviously, Corbin Carroll's situation, he will not be playing for Team USA,
now,
which sucks.
Speaking of farewell, I don't have this down, but speaking of farewell tours, will there be a farewell tour for Team USA as his replacement?
Who?
Mike Trout.
Maybe. Well, I don't think it's going to be farewell for him because when do they do the World Baseball Classic?
Every 4 years.
Every 4 years?
Everything that might be every 3 or 4 years.
I was about to say, because wasn't it? Yeah, it was because Edwin Diaz tore his Achilles or ACL in
3 years ago, right?
Yeah, no, it was about 3 years ago. Damn, time goes by. Never even realized that. But yeah, it's possible that Trout kind of has a farewell tour. I'm surprised he didn't make the roster to begin with.
No, he didn't want to,
which is shocking.
Because he couldn't get insured on his contract.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It has something to do with that. Okay, well, that was similar to why Lindor didn't play for Puerto Rico. But yeah, so I don't know who they're going to end up replacing him with. It'll be interesting to see there.
Kyle Stowers. There's a list.
Yeah, pull up the list. I'm curious to see who it is. But at least for the sake of, we'll just mention the last of their injuries before. Like I said, Lindor is right now looking like he's going to probably miss opening day, which sucks. I know that they've mentioned that with this injury, this specific one, that a lot of them lose the grip power and pop after they come back from injury. I really hope it doesn't affect Lindor to the way that it sounds like it could, because he's been one of the Mets' best hitters the past couple seasons. So
got it.
I really hope not. Who's the list?
Kyle Stowers, Tyler Soderstrom, Roman Anthony, James Wood, Wyatt Langford, Riley Green, Stephen Kwan.
James Wood. That's who I'd go with. I like the pop in his bat. I think that kid's an unbelievable hitter. And he could play the field as well, too. So that would just be my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if they go with Stowers, because Stowers did have a good year. Soderstrom could be another option, for sure.
Roman Anthony would be a pretty good option.
Roman Anthony would be a good option as well.
He has a hot sister.
Okay. Let's be professional here.
Nah, it's pretty professional.
Yeah, okay. But, yeah, no. So I'm curious to see who they replace him with. It sucks because there's not many players that are of his caliber that you could replace him with. I mean, the guys on the list are good behind him, but they're not Corbin Carroll. That guy is so versatile with his speed, his fielding, the pop of his bat.
Yeah, I was about to say,
incredible.
Corbin Carroll, he doesn't just bring defense to the plate. He's a threat everywhere.
On the base paths, in the field, in the box. The guy
I would have loved to see that lineup with Bobby Witt and Corbin Carroll on the same team. That would have been
ball hitting to the gap. Both of them are scoring from first. That's
exactly,
no doubt about it.
How many triples do you think would have been hit?
A lot for sure. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with the World Baseball Classic. Hopefully these guys don't miss too much time, because they are some pretty prominent players on each of their rosters. Mostly, Jackson Holliday's an up-and-comer, but Corbin Carroll and Lindor are two big guys for each of their respective franchises. So hopefully they're not going to be out for too long, and hopefully the injury does not affect them as much. We will go into the NBA now.
Additional consideration is Cody Bellinger.
Okay, I would actually be content with that. I think that he would be deserving of it as well. Yeah,
they could move him around too. Yeah. They could put him outfield.
The versatility, yeah, I could see it. Definitely one that I would consider then for sure. So like we said, we'll go into the NBA. Not really going to touch on all too much because there's not really a crazy amount going on right now. It's a lot of the same stuff. Detroit at the top of the Eastern Conference right now, Boston right behind them, Knicks right behind them, and then the West is just an absolute gauntlet. We all kind of knew that. OKC's kind of fell off a little bit since the time that we mentioned them. We were talking about them potentially breaking the record for the best season in NBA history. That's not happening anymore.
But are they still number one?
Oh yeah, they're still number one in pretty convincing fashion. Like we figured, they're probably the favorites to win the whole thing again.
Who's number two?
I believe the favorites to win?
No,
or two in the West.
West.
Oh man, I think it may be Denver. I know Denver's up there. I think it's Denver, because Denver's always been one of. Oh, okay. Now that's what I thought it was going to be something a little bit different than that. I thought I saw some big NFL news, but it was just an announcement about the complaints about each organization, how they do like the report cards. Supposedly there are a couple organizations that had a few issues with their report cards. So not the greatest
Does not
news.
surprise me.
Yeah, it doesn't really surprise me that much either. Not much of a shock. No, it's San Antonio second and then Denver third, which again could have figured that too. But we will talk about one quick thing, and that is the 2 brawls that took place on Monday night in the games.
Oh, yeah, that was
Those
bad.
were nuts. Well, one of them really wasn't, I would say, a brawl. It was more of a scuffle. The other one was
WWE.
was like, yeah, World Wrestling Federation out here. So the first one was between Nas Reed and Muhammad Gay. They had a little altercation in the Timberwolves and Hawks game. A couple pushes. They were grabbing hold of each other. You had the coaches separating them. I don't really think that there were many, punches thrown. I think it was more just jawing at one another, and a bunch of guys were all trying to separate. It was a little bit of a scuffle, but not really a good look. Both of them were ejected from the contest, but the one that was nuts was the Hornets and Pistons game.
I saw that.
Holy smokes.
Jaren Duran put his hand in someone's face, and then he got a punch thrown at him. And
Yeah,
then they
by
were going at
Musa Diabate was the one that ended up having a little scuffle with him, and then Bridges comes in, and he throws a punch, and then, what's his name, Isaiah Stewart comes in and puts him in a chokehold,
Oh, yeah, big
he
Stu,
throws a couple punches.
Beef Stew.
Yeah.
He came in off the bench just to throw a
Well,
punch.
so did Bridges. Bridges came in from the bench as well. But
But Bridges was like Isaiah Stewart had. Bridges was getting rotational minutes.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't think Isaiah Stewart was.
No, but yeah, Stewart came in and just started throwing like all over the place with a couple of headlocks and this and that. All of them got suspended. Stewart got the most of it. He got 7 games. Diabate and Bridges got 4 games as a suspension. Duran got 2 games. All of them clearly were ejected in the game. I believe one of the coaches was also ejected for arguing with the officials later on after that altercation, but you're starting to see a lot of tensions flaring in the NBA as the season is starting to heat up, because you look at the Hornets. The Hornets went on a nice little run of a win streak. I mean, they went on 9-game win streak? So they're starting to get themselves back into playoff contention.
And then something like this happens.
And you're going to have a couple guys getting suspended. Detroit obviously having a few suspended when they're sitting at the top of the league.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jaren
you can
Duran
see.
is.
Yeah. Well, Duran, like I mentioned, it's only 2 games. But still, a lot of tensions flaring in these games. Very, very surprising. But again, as a former athlete
Is
myself.
Jaren or Jared?
I believe it's Jalen Duran.
Jalen Duran. I'm thinking of baseball.
I know. Trust me, I'm thinking of baseball too. But yeah, it's Jalen Duran.
Jaren Duran plays for the Red
but
Sox.
again, very, very surprising. I know, like I mentioned, I was a former athlete. I know you played some sports as well. You were a former athlete. So it's like we get where the competitiveness and, the intensity comes from, but I know the NBA is not really known for having like brawls like this, especially not 2 in one night.
I know. Also, this is kind of irrelevant, but I think it's Jalen Duran.
It could be.
I think that's it.
Duran.
No, it's Duran.
I think it is
sure
Duran. I'm probably just, regardless. Still, crazy fights, but we're not even really going to focus more on that. We're going to focus on something that gives us a little hope, and that's the New York Knicks. I know we talked about this guy.
Oh, Grand Theft Alvarado?
Yeah, Grand Theft Alvarado himself made his debut the other night against the Philadelphia 76ers, and what a debut it was for him.
It wasn't Wednesday. He played over the weekend. He played on Sunday.
No, but he made his debut. He did not play on Sunday when the trade first went through. That was his first game as a New York Knick.
No, the trade went through sometime last week.
Yeah, and that was his first game as a Knick. They were talking about it all day.
They played on...
Yeah, but he didn't play that game. He played his first game against the 76ers.
I don't think so.
I'm 100% positive. I'll put my bank account on it.
He played on Super Bowl Sunday, I'm pretty sure.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did. Because he went out there, told Jalen Brunson, said, just play your game, play how you play, and I'll get...
That was him on the bench, though. He didn't play. They didn't put him in the game at all. I'm a million percent positive.
I am positive that he got at least 1 steal on Sunday.
I guarantee you he did not play. No, he did not.
Well,
Yes, he did. He had 25 minutes.
Bingo.
Was it his home debut? I think
Yes,
it may have been his home debut.
It may have been his home debut.
No, it was still on the road. But regardless, second game.
So, all your money, mine.
Yeah. I was about to say something. I'm going to stop myself. No, you're not touching my money. I could have sworn that they pushed him back, though, because when the trade went through, they were saying that he's not going to start immediately. But I guess he did play against the Celtics. That's my fault. It's my fault. But yeah, no. So he plays his second game. At least the first game was okay. He only put up 12 points. The second game,
He had 8 threes.
8 threes, 26 points, 5 steals in that blowout win against the 76ers. This is exactly why we were enjoying the fact that he got traded there. Was, again, we've mentioned he's a New York native. You know, I'm pretty sure he was a Knicks. Yeah, he was from Brooklyn. He was raised in Queens. And he's talked about how he wanted to play, or he loved playing in New York.
Yep.
So I had a feeling that the fire was going to be there. And he's obviously a very, very talented player. He's not going to be a starter for them, obviously. We knew that. But, again,
He's a great defensive piece.
great addition. Great addition.
Speaking of another great addition that the Knicks made.
The one yesterday.
Yes, yesterday which I'm surprised that the Spurs even did this. Former lottery pick Jeremy Sochan was released by San Antonio on Wednesday.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either. And I saw that the two names that the Knicks were targeting at the deadline, they weren't Giannis. It wasn't any big-name players. The two players that they wanted at the deadline were Alvarado and Sochan. And guess what?
They got them both.
They got them both.
Well,
and they got one of them via trade, and the other one they didn't have to give up anything for him.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is he was a Rising Stars participant his rookie and sophomore year. He's 22 years old.
Yep.
He's averaging about 10.5 points per game.
He's coming off the bench for San Antonio. That's why he's not even starting for him.
Yeah, but again, he showed a lot of promise even in the very few minutes that he gets per game. I mean, it looks like he gets about 25 per game, which is still a decent amount, but not starter minutes. But he contributes.
It's not even like he's doing absolutely nothing. He's a great player. I hope after this season, right, the Knicks extend him.
They probably will.
Because he's 22 years old.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of tenacity. He's going to be a good addition just because he's young, he's athletic. He brings size, but he's versatile.
He's 6'8", right?
Yeah.
He's a 6'8" wing.
Yeah, he's a big boy, and like I said, he's very versatile. He's athletic. He's the biggest part about it. He's young.
He's 22 years old.
So if he ends up panning out for them, that's going to be a great addition, especially after the Alvarado addition.
No, if he turns out being good for the Knicks and the Knicks extend him, that may be one of the best signings.
Yeah,
that to ever happen, to ever play at MSG.
Absolutely, I love the signing, or I would love the signing a lot for him. I like the signing now. So I'm curious to see how that goes because right now the Knicks are starting to play some pretty decent basketball. I know that they've had a couple struggles here and there, especially after they got blown out by the Detroit Pistons last week. That was an ugly one. I watched that game. It was terrible to watch.
Yeah, they played the Pistons, got blown out. But what people don't realize is Josh Hart got hurt during that game. Cat didn't play. Anunoby didn't play.
Yeah.
So that was literally the Knicks bench, and the Knicks bench was their 11 through 15 people, like men on the roster.
Yeah.
So
that
game was literally Jalen Brunson and Mitchell Robinson against the Pistons.
Yeah. The Pistons are no joke either, though. But
yeah.
But
I'm saying a fully healthy Knicks team against.
Oh, it's much different.
I'm not bashing Clarkson. Well, Clarkson has been playing great. I'm not bashing Shamet, Kolek.
No McBride still, like we mentioned last show. He's going to be out for a little bit. But they'll be all right.
Yeah.
They'll be just fine. I know that obviously it was a lot of the bench players, and Detroit's no slouch. So,
no.
But again, like I said, they were starting to play very good basketball. Obviously, that was a rough one. But then they come out and absolutely throttle the 76ers. They've been playing some pretty decent basketball down the stretch. So adding these guys to the lineup's definitely going to be very beneficial.
Yeah, they played very good basketball against the 76ers. They also kind of held Boston to under 80 points.
No, it was under 90 points.
Under 90 points.
I think it was 111 to 89 was the final score.
Might have been 86 or something like that.
I believe it was 89.
Something like that.
It was close, though. Yeah, it was in that ballpark. Boston's caught up very nice too. I mean, they're ahead of the Knicks right now. They're in second place in the Eastern Conference, where we sit at third.
Now, I've seen that
half game.
Tatum came out and said he's eyeing a return at some point this season. I'm not saying this because I'm a Knicks fan. I'm saying this because I like the sport of basketball, and I don't think it would be smart if he does eye a return for this season, just like Halliburton. Another thing, right? You have a torn Achilles. Damian Lillard, why are you participating in the three-point contest? You're not young. A guy in Damian Lillard who's not young, he's getting up there in age. Why is he participating in the three-point contest?
Well, it's not like he's really got to do all too much to shoot three-pointers. I mean, it's probably what he was already doing during rehab anyway. So I get it.
Yeah, but it doesn't it doesn't matter, right? You're timed during the three-point contest, right?
I know, and he's gonna still be hustling and stuff. I don't know. Let the guy have his fun. I don't agree with it either, but you could let him enjoy his time.
But if I'm Halliburton and if I'm Tatum, I don't want to. Like I said, I'm not saying this because I want the Knicks to win the East. I'm saying this because I think that if they rush their rehab, there's a chance that they can come back, play in 2 games, and then
re-aggravate the injury.
Re-rupture the Achilles.
Yeah, no, it's not the brightest thing.
And that wouldn't be the smartest thing because then it'd be out for next season too.
Well, yeah, he may be done for his career if you rupture the same Achilles. But, yeah, at least for Halliburton's sake, I doubt he would come back anyway. The Pacers they're nowhere near what they were last year. They're sitting towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Boston, a little bit different just because they're sitting at second in the Eastern Conference, so I know that they're itching to get him back. But I think that even right now, they've shown that they could still win games without him. They're in second place, and they haven't had him a single game yet this year.
It's because Jaylen Brown finally discovered that he can finally play basketball.
Yeah, well, no, I wouldn't say that. He found that he can reach an MVP level if he does what he's supposed to do.
If Tatum isn't there taking the ball.
Yeah, but again, once they kind of get him back too, that's going to be a terrifying team. Even with they just added Vucevic as well, Peyton Pritchard. They got some players. They got some players
Derek
on that
White.
team. Yeah, that team is going to be a little tougher to take down, especially if they get Tatum back. Oof. That's going to be – it'll be fun to see them again if they have Tatum back because then there'll be no excuse for if the Knicks win again. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. We're going to talk about something that's a little bit different right now, which is kind of a surprise.
I think the Knicks would have beat them either way if Tatum didn't get hurt.
Well, I think they still would have anyway. But, again, there's no excuse if he doesn't get hurt that game, and because a lot of them were saying, a lot of Celtics fans, and I get it. We're all saying, "Oh, well, you only beat us because Tatum ended up getting hurt at the end of the game." Blah blah blah, and it's like, well, it is what it is. It's part of the game, but I'd love to just beat him at full strength.
It's like me saying the Yankees only lost the World Series because Judge dropped the baseball.
Yeah, I know there's excuses, but I'd just love to beat him at full strength. Plus, it's cool to see Jason Tatum playing. Even as someone who's a Knicks fan, you got to appreciate the guy's a very, very good basketball player. So you got to give him his props.
Yep.
We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna bring up something that we have not brought up at all on this show, but obviously since it's that time of year and there's no NHL going on, we're going to talk about the Olympics a little bit because those have been taking place over the past week or a little bit longer than a week now, almost a week and a half. Men's hockey just started
Hockey just started yesterday, but the one thing I want to say is I don't want to butcher the name. I think it's Lindsey.
Lindsey Vonn?
Yeah, Lindsey Vonn.
That was a scary injury.
Yeah, speedy recovery for her.
Well, that's most likely the end of her Olympic
career.
Because
she said she would have just got surgery, but she doesn't think her body could do another 4 years.
Yeah. Well, she was already kind of hinting at this being her final Olympics anyway, because she's, I believe, 41 now.
Yeah.
So, again, thank God that she's okay and that the surgeries have been a success. We appreciate everything that she's done for our country as well, representing really well. Prayers for a full speedy recovery
for her. Yes,
that was not fun to watch. I know somebody else went down too, but that was a gruesome.
You want to know what else was not fun to watch? The USA bobsled team. Did you see that video?
I did not.
The bobsled team, all four of them tried to jump into the bobsled. Guess how many actually stayed in?
I'd probably say 0 of them did.
One
of them. Wow.
They got disqualified because 3 of them couldn't stay in the bobsled.
I didn't even see that. I got to go back and watch that highlight. I mean, I've been watching some of it.
It's embarrassing. I didn't watch it live. I woke up the next morning, And my friend, I slept at my friend's college on Saturday, and he goes, "Look what happened this morning." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, well, I've watched a decent amount of it. I know that I believe it was our mixed curling team, the doubles team, ended up winning the silver medal.
Yeah, I saw that.
Losing to Sweden in the final. Who was it? Our speed. Who's the speed skater? Oh my God, he broke the record. He won gold in the event. Shoot, look him up, please. Look up I feel bad not even remembering his name because I've been bouncing all over the place watching different stuff.
Didn't Jake Paul's girlfriend get a medal?
Yes, she did. In women's speed skating, and was flying. Speed skating is so much fun to watch. I went to Lake Placid, so I got to witness some of it firsthand. That is impressive. It is like the sports that these people play in the Olympics or they compete in is nuts. Like the ski jump.
Jordan Stolz.
There it is. Jordan Stolz, correct. He won the gold medal in men's speed skating, and he was cooking. I remember watching that video. I'm pretty sure he broke a record. I think it was the 100 meter? I think it may be. But he won gold in an event, and he was absolutely flying. I remember watching that for a little bit. But the ones that I've really been watching, there's obviously 3, and that's the women's hockey. The U.S. women's team is disgusting. Disgusting.
I know. Didn't they win it last time?
Well, I think they did.
I know. No, I know they did because this is a funny story. Over the summer, I went to Florida for my uncle's bachelor party, right? Mm-hmm. And we went to a trivia night, and we wound up losing by 5 points. And I kid you not, the question we missed was what team won the gold medal for women's hockey in the Olympics in 2022. And my answer was, we were trying to all figure it out without looking it up, and my answer was, oh, wait a minute. I said it was USA. And my uncle and all of his friends were like, no.
It was Canada.
They're like, no, it had to be Canada or something. I said, no, put 5 points. They were like, you could only use 5 points once during the round. I said, put all 5 points on USA. And they're like, no, why would you do that? I said, I am 100% positive it's USA. He goes, we'll put 1 point down for USA. Answer was correct. They all look at me. I'm like, I told you.
Yeah, no, but they've scored 5 goals in every game so far. They beat Canada 5-0. They will be playing Italy today. This afternoon, they play them at, I believe, 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the quarterfinals. That should be another interesting game, to say the least. I hope, obviously, the U.S. wins. Italy is the host country. Everyone knows that. So it could be a little interesting, but I think that the U.S. is just extremely dominant. They said that, I believe, 6, or was it? No. Of course, these are the numbers, and I know you're going to say something. 6 of the last 7 matchups in the Olympics for women's hockey, I believe, has been the U.S. versus Canada. The only one, I believe, Sweden was the one team that made it in the final, supposedly. But it's been either the U.S. and Canada almost every single time. Most likely going to end up happening again. But the U.S. women's has been incredible to watch. The men's just started yesterday. They won their first game against Latvia 5-1. Should have been about 7 or 8-1. They had a couple goals that were called off earlier in the first period. I was watching that whole game. They called one off for goalie interference. They called one off for offsides. I mean, yeah, the goalie interference one was not goalie interference. The rule book says it. I did not see it. Offsides, the guy was a little bit offsides. So it makes sense.
Goalie interference is when they hit the goalie, right?
Well, technically, the way that they do it is if they keep the goalie from being able to play the puck the normal way, that's considered goaltender interference. And JT Miller was in the crease, didn't really touch into him, and the puck was deflected off somebody else's stick going from one side all the way to the opposite side. So it wouldn't have been saved anyway, but they called it goalie interference. I didn't really agree with it. The offsides was offside. So again, should have realistically been about 6-1, but the U.S. played a great game. They've been really impressive, but there's one topic that everyone's been talking about for the Olympics, and that's figure skating. Something that I never thought that I'd really get like
some kid from the U.S. like pull off a move that was banned for 50 years.
Ilya Malinin, his name is Ilya Malinin,
representing the U.S. Right?
He is 21 years old. He is a Grand Prix figure skating champion. He is a world champion, I believe, the 4 years, from 2023 to 2026. He is unbelievable watching what he does. His nickname is the Quad God.
He did a backflip, right?
Yes, he did. And that's been banned for the last 50 years. And the reason why is because it's like basically a death sentence move. It's a guaranteed injury move.
So
they've seen other people
Was
get
it
hurt.
not banned this year when he did it?
No, he did it anyway, and they just it's more of not being like banned as in like if you do it, it's against the rules, you're not allowed to. It's more of
like if you
they
do it,
highly recommend you don't do it.
They're saying like if you do it, you have to land it, kind of.
Well, no, it's not even that you have to. It's kind of like
if you
do it at your own discretion. If you want to do it, you better hope you land it, but we don't recommend you do it.
Yeah,
and he landed it.
He did it. It wasn't even like he did it off of 2 feet. He did it off of
one.
Like that's
but then he's also the only person to be able to pull off a quadruple axel, and he's done it like 7 or 8 times in a single event. It's 21 years old.
I never knew figure skating was so entertaining.
Dude, listen, I used to, when I played hockey, when I first started training.
You used to hate figure skaters?
No. So, no, this is what I was saying is when I first started playing hockey when I was younger, I obviously had to learn to skate in order to play hockey.
I can't skate.
My first coach that taught me how to skate was a figure skater. She was a figure skating coach, and she used to be a figure skater. I don't remember where. It was somewhere in our hometown. But she was a professional at one point, and I used to always like judge and be like, oh, well, figure skating isn't like hockey. You know, hockey is tougher. I will tell you what.
You think it's the other way around?
No, it's maybe the physicality part of hockey, yes. But the things that some of these figure skaters are doing is unreal. When I saw his event, because I was sitting at work watching it, and there were a couple people that were in our store. We're all kind of sitting around. It's up on the television. And somebody had originally said to me, dude, this kid is impressive. Like, if you haven't seen him yet, you have to watch him. He's extremely good. His name is Ilya. He's from the United States. He's probably the best figure skater in the world right now. And I'm going, why? And they said, well, his nickname is the Quad God. And I said, the Quad God, why? Does he have, like, big legs? Because that's what they called, Saquon Barkley. They call him the Quad Father. So I was like, okay, I'm curious to see what.
No, they call them Saquads.
Or Saquads. The Quad Father's A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, A.J. Dillon,
correct.
Yep.
But again, they were saying he's the Quad God. And I'm going, Quad God? Okay, he must have big legs. So they were like, no, you have to sit and watch it. And I watched that exact event. It was the mixed team finals. And he did all those quadruple axles and the backflip. And I sat there jaw-dropped going, what? I've never seen a figure skater do that before. Ever.
That was in the finals, too?
Yeah. That was to win them their gold medal in the mixed team final. That was...
Didn't some kid also... I don't think he won a medal, but he came 4th for the U.S. with a broken arm for snowboarding?
I think so, yeah. I mean, so far the Olympics has been great. I know the U.S., I think, is 3rd in medals right now. I think it's Norway's in 1st, Italy's in 2nd, and the U.S. is in 3rd. But yeah, he's going to have an opportunity also this afternoon to win the individual men's gold figure skating medal. So I'm definitely going to be watching both the women's hockey and that as well.
I'm not going to jinx anything, but would you say there's a chance he could win it?
Who? A chance that he could win it?
Yes.
Oh, no, he's 100% going to win it.
You better knock on wood right now.
Dude, listen. With the scoring that he posted during that mixed team final, the score to beat, I believe, was like 103 points. He finished his routine. He fell during the routine and finished 108 points. He didn't even do it perfect, and he still blew everybody else out. It's because he's the only person that can do what he does. No other figure skater right now, men's or women's, is able to do what he does. None of them.
That's crazy.
So All he has to do is land a couple quadruple axles and a backflip, and it's ball game. He could fall the rest of the act.
You think he does the backflip again?
Oh, I would not be surprised. I've seen him do that flip. Now, after I saw that first event, I'm going, who the hell is this kid? And I'm looking up all of his stuff. He did it for the Anaheim Ducks. They had an event where they brought him in right before the Olympics, and he's wearing an orange Anaheim Ducks jersey with his figure skates on, and he's on their freaking ice, and he goes right up, backflip, one shot, and I'm sitting there going, what?
How'd you not see that?
I was blown away. Blown away. This kid is incredible to watch, and the crazy part is
he's
21. But it makes sense because I've learned now that both of his parents are former gold medalists in the Olympics in figure skating. Both of them, mom and dad, both. So kind of makes sense as to where he got his skill and his passion for figure skating. But good Lord, that has definitely been the talk of it so far. I've seen so many people talking about it. So I hope he wins the event.
Speaking of so many people talking about this, right? Let's transition into what
a lot of people have been waiting for.
Exactly, what concluded the NFL season and what might be what some people call the most depressing time of the year, because
football's over.
No more football on Sundays. Unless you want to watch the UFL or the AFL, but who wants to watch that?
Well, I mean, it's never going to be the NFL. But in regard to the Super Bowl,
that was just
that
terrible.
game was horrible.
That was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. You could have given the kicker, Jason Myers, MVP, and it would have been justified.
I cannot believe, as a Rams fan, I was saying to myself, do I even bother watching? Because everybody's been asking me for the past, well, they were asking me for the past 2 weeks, who are you pulling for? And
you said Cooper Kupp.
Well, yes, Cooper Kupp. But you know who my answer was?
New England.
The refs.
Oh, yeah, you said that last week on the podcast. You said go refs.
Go refs. Go Stripes. Come on. I was not rooting for a division rival, and I'm not rooting for the New England Patriots. So I basically sat there and had a very successful hate watch.
I wasn't rooting for the Pats either. I wanted the Seahawks to win, but when I got to my friend's Super Bowl party, someone was like, "You're from New England and don't root for the Pats." And
Who cares?
I'm like, I was born in New York. She goes, "Okay, you're justified." But I said, I'm not rooting for the Pats because I don't like Brady. I'm like, you know what? I said, you know what? I respect that. I said, I might not be rooting for the Pats the first half. Second half, if they win, I'll be happy. Only because I met a Pats fan that doesn't like Brady.
Yeah, no. I just did not want to root for anybody. I couldn't. To be honest with you, I'm going to tell a little quick story as to why I'm wearing my Matthew Stafford jersey today. Shout out Buffalo Wild Wings for this one. I went with a couple of buddies of mine. Yeah, I went to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch the game with a couple friends of mine, and they did a raffle a few weeks ago, and nobody put a bid in for a Stafford jersey. So showing up to Buffalo Wild Wings, I am wearing my Rams Cooper Kupp jersey with my Rams Super Bowl hat with the patch on the side. And the manager of the store comes up to me and goes, "You're a Rams fan?" I said, yeah, I am. And he goes, "You know, we had a raffle here a couple weeks ago, and nobody put a bid in for this thing. It's just going to sit in the back, or we're going to donate this. So, you know what? Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. I got a gift to give you." I'm like, okay. Wonder what it could be. Maybe it's, a T-shirt or hat or pin, whatever. And he brings out this jersey. And I got it for free. Okay? This is why, as a Rams fan or any fan that you root for, when your team is not in it, you do not pick another team. You stick with the team that you're rooting for.
Oh, no. I was wearing a Giants jersey at the Super Bowl party.
Yeah, and you should. Just like I wore my Rams jersey to the Super Bowl, and the Rams were not in the Super Bowl, and good things happened. I got myself a brand new Matt Stafford jersey.
I didn't show up wearing it, but I think midway through the first quarter, I went out to my friend's car, and I got my neighbor's jersey and kind of just put it on. And then one of my friend's roommates was like, "What the hell are you wearing?" And I'm like, "You told me I could wear whatever I want." He goes, "That's true." I said, "Hey, you're lucky I didn't bring my Manning jersey. Otherwise, that would have been worse."
That would have been way worse, especially for the Patriot fans that were there. At least
I was in a house full of Patriots fans.
Yeah. See, I was with one Patriots fan. But
get this right. My friend that I went to go see, right? All of his roommates are Pats fans. He said, and he's a Giants fan, he said he wanted the Patriots to win only because he knew that if they lost, the after party wouldn't be as exciting as it would.
Come on.
I walk into his house, he's wearing a Patriots jersey. Granted, it was Goskowski. It was a kicker.
I don't care.
I told him take it off, go put a Giants jersey on. He goes, no.
Shame on you, whoever that is. I don't know. We'll keep the name out
I'm
of
not
it.
name dropping anybody.
Yeah, it's gonna be incognito. But
I would never put on a Patriots
dare
jersey.
you?
Even though we're not rivals, I would never put on a Patriots jersey. I would never put on a Mets jersey. No offense.
It's understandable. But no, especially
unless I'm actually going to a Mets game, like, and I'm not paying for a ticket, and I'm going with a friend, and he goes wear a jersey, I'll be like, okay, but
I still wouldn't. Well, I mean, as a Mets fan, I would, but
but I'm not. I would never willingly put on a Patriots jersey,
no
Mets jersey, Islanders jersey.
Well, see, I'm a little different for like the Rams. When I was younger and getting into football, I owned a Reggie Bush New Orleans Saints jersey.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I did. I used to get a Super Bowl jersey every year when I was younger. I had a Marshawn Lynch Seattle jersey.
Ooh.
I had a Colin Kaepernick San Francisco jersey.
Oh,
Don't worry, that jersey was burned.
Burn it.
I did already did.
Thank
already
God.
burned it.
I'm not even saying it because it's Colin Kaepernick. I'm saying it because it's a 49er jersey. That thing deserves to be burned. But yeah, like I owned other jerseys in my life, but I never, like nowadays, I would never wear any of them. The only ones that I would wear would be teams that I root for. So like
Now,
if it was the Patriots, I would
the only
no.
thing that I might do, right, is if I get other jerseys, I would probably get them from like DH Gate or something.
I still wouldn't.
But
I don't care
if
where
I
they're
do
from.
if I do it, right, here's my reasoning. It's because on the podcast, right, I'd wear Giants, Yankees, like if I'd maybe get like a Jahmyr Gibbs Lions jersey, I'd get like players that are well known. I wouldn't go out there and I wouldn't get like I would get like a Puka Nacua Rams jersey.
The hell yeah. But that's the thing is you may do that. On this show, you will never see me wearing any other jersey other than the Mets, the Rangers, the Rams, and the Knicks. I will not be wearing anything, or the University of Alabama too, but that's also because I went to Bama. So it's a little different. But I will, even for the sake of the podcast, I will not be wearing another jersey. I am a loyal fan to my teams. Now that it's kind of in stone, it's been that way for, at least like 10, 15 years now. I will not wear another jersey. The only time I've ever worn another jersey, well, technically it wasn't a jersey, but it was a t-shirt, was when I went to a Yankees game because I went with all my friends who were all Yankee fans. They were playing against, I believe it was the Toronto Blue Jays or Baltimore, and I remember wearing it. I had an Aaron Judge shirt with a Yankees hat because I go to a lot of Yankee games too. I have no problem with them. We've talked about this on the podcast, but you will not see me wearing a Boston Red Sox uniform. You will not see me wearing an Atlanta Braves or Philadelphia Phillies uniform. It's not going to happen. At least with the Yankees, it's respectable. We're in New York. But every other jersey, no way. And for football, I'm not wearing any other jersey, period. I went to a Jets-Patriots game, I think it was 3 years ago. I wore an Aaron Donald Rams jersey to the game.
Good.
And I had people saying to me, dude, why are you wearing that jersey? I had some Jets fan come up to me and tell me that Aaron Donald sucks. And I remember looking at him, I go, Aaron Donald is better than every single one of your bum players that you got in your franchise. Shut your mouth.
He might be better than any player in Jets franchise history.
No, he is better than pretty much any player in Jets franchise history. So the fact that he had the audacity to come up to me and say that, I just looked at him and go, dude, shut up, please. Okay, enough. Stop. You've been suffering since 1969. I don't want to hear your BS. Keep your mouth shut. Even the Patriot fans didn't say anything to me. The Jets fans did.
Yeah, because they're Jets fans and they're petty.
Yeah, but you know what? Patriots fans, a lot of them got the big yappers. They love to talk.
When I was younger, I had a Jets jersey. But it was only because it was the last name on the jersey was my mom's maiden name. Mm-hmm. My mom's maiden name was the last name on the jersey. And then that's the only reason why I had it.
And somebody said something to you about it?
No.
No?
Well, my cousin did, the Giants fan. He goes, why do you have a Jets jersey? I'm like, only because of the last name. It was a gift. I didn't buy it. He goes, it's understandable.
Well, okay, but that makes sense.
Exactly.
But yeah, I willingly went to that game wearing an Aaron Donald jersey, and they got mad. But we'll kind of go back into the actual Super Bowl. I know we went off a little bit with our opinions and fun stuff. Of course, it's a little fun to do that. We got some time anyway. But yeah, no. So the game was pretty garbage. The final score 29-13. We did see Kenneth Walker win the Super Bowl.
We didn't
MVP.
see a touchdown until I believe the
middle
of the third.
Fourth quarter.
Yeah. Well, fourth.
AJ Barner had the first touchdown in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was an ugly game to watch. Very lopsided, but we're going to kind of talk about two questions that pertain to this past Super Bowl. Obviously, we did see Sam Darnold win his first career Super Bowl. He wasn't great in the game. He was just efficient. He didn't turn the ball over at all in the playoffs. He finished the game with 19 completions on 38 attempts, 202 passing yards, and a touchdown. But where we're going to go with it is after a little bit of a rough start, as we know, to his NFL career, he finally finds success in back-to-back seasons, ultimately lifting a Lombardi at the conclusion of this year. We know his career has been quite the roller coaster, and he's bounced around all these different organizations, but he's found his home in Seattle officially now. However, Seattle's defense was remarkable this year and was a big reason why they won the Super Bowl. Here's the question I want us to kind of talk about is, did Seattle's defense prove that you no longer need an elite quarterback to win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
I think they also did as well. I will say yes to that. And I think the thing is, it's not a shot at him because, again, like I said, he was very efficient. Didn't turn the ball over. The only game that he really cooked, and I'll give him credit, was against the Rams in the NFC Championship.
You want to know something funny? That was the first game Sam Darnold ever won against the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, I know he didn't win any on the Jets, so.
Or the Panthers.
But, again, like where I was kind of going with it is Darnold only really lit up the Rams. Now, the Rams secondary, I'm saying this as a Rams fan, was doo-doo butt cheeks. So it kind of made sense as to why it went that way. They were not good in man coverage, and I love the Rams, and I love the players that we have. It's just, again, it's not their forte. They just were not good enough this year with the secondary, and he was cooking on them. But every other game, he really didn't have to do much. And the way that I look at it is I wouldn't consider Darnold to be elite, but he's effective. Now, Seattle's defense was able to get him the ball more frequently, and he had many opportunities to where he could be efficient. Because even in that game, he had multiple drives where it was 3 and out, or, they just were getting stuffed up and couldn't really do much, but they just kept getting chance after chance after chance because Seattle's defense kept getting the ball back.
I remember,
he just punted 8 times in the first 9 drives of the game.
Speaking of not being effective, this player wasn't really effective all season. And on the ride up, I went to Rhode Island to my friend's house. On the ride up, I was talking with my friends, and they're like, "Who's going to be the leading receiver for Seattle tonight?" And everyone was like, "Oh, it's going to be JSN."
JSN.
First word I said was the first thing I said after they said that, I'm like, Cooper Kupp. They're like,
he's been there before.
They're like, what do you mean it's going to be Cooper Kupp? Like, he's not going to get any receptions. I'm like, no, it's going to be Cooper Kupp.
And he was their leading receiver.
He had 61 receiving yards.
Yep, on 6 catches.
Yep, and JSN only had 1 reception for 19 yards, I believe.
No, he had 2 catches for 24 yards.
It was
close.
Close.
It was close.
But I was not wrong. Cooper Kupp, leading receiver.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, he's been there before. This is a stage that he's very familiar with. He was the Super Bowl MVP when he played for the Rams. So
I think if he scored a touchdown, he probably could have been one again.
Yeah, he could have been for sure. But yeah, no. Going back to the whole Sam Darnold thing, though, is at least with him, he didn't have any bad turnovers.
Nope.
He had a couple failed drives, but the defense kept picking him up over and over and over again. And I think that it kind of proves that as long as you have a quarterback that can be efficient at certain times and a top-notch defense, you're going to win games. It's proven that you don't necessarily need an elite quarterback. And I know a lot of fans are going to be mad at me for this. It's kind of similar to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. I consider Jalen Hurts a good quarterback. Elite? I don't think so. He's got an elite team around him in the year that they did win the Super Bowl. They had an elite defense. But he was efficient.
They did.
He was efficient. I mean, he played phenomenal in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. That was a great game from him. He deserved to win Super Bowl MVP. But it's not that he's he's elite. He's a top quarterback. No, he's efficient. he proved it this year that he's not elite because he didn't really do all too much. They
He wasn't even that efficient.
24th ranked offense the whole year.
It wasn't even that efficient either.
No, but he was efficient enough to win them games. I mean, the defense was a big part of it as well, and the offense was stellar, but you don't necessarily need an elite quarterback to win.
No,
I don't even consider Jared Goff elite, and the Rams made it to a Super Bowl and lost to New England with Jared Goff.
You know, funny thing, I think it was midway through the first quarter or second quarter, I said, you know what? I said, this is just like Pat's Rams.
Yeah, and it was. It 100% was. The only thing is Pat's Rams ended 13-3, where this game at least they scored 42 points.
That might have been the worst Super Bowl I've ever seen.
That was one of the worst Super Bowls, and I'll give it a lot of credit. Now, Cooper Kupp didn't play in that either. But no excuses. The Patriots' defense was all over Goff that game anyway. But, yeah, I wouldn't consider Goff to be elite. And he went to a Super Bowl. Didn't win it, but he went to a Super Bowl. I think Seattle is the same way.
Could have went to 2.
Almost could have went to 2, yeah. But that's my point, is you don't necessarily need an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl at this point now. Even Philadelphia proved it with Jalen, and they proved it with Nick Foles.
Exactly. Nick Foles.
Nick Foles isn't elite, but he's efficient. He was efficient in the game. He was efficient the whole playoff. He had a good enough team around him, and he was efficient enough to win games.
Ravens proved it with Joe Flacco.
Ravens proved it with Joe Flacco. There are a lot of times. Now, it definitely is a benefit, and there are elite quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls, for sure. But it's proven that if you have a well-built, constructed roster with a good head coach, good coordinators, and a solid game plan.
Won one with Big Ben.
Well, Big Ben is technically, he's a Hall of Famer. So,
well, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
So
when I think, Tom Brady's an elite quarterback. He's not very mobile.
I was going to say Tom Brady is 100% elite. So, but yeah. That's kind of where I'm going with it.
I may be throwing shade at my own player, but the Giants won twice with Eli.
That's what I was going to say, too, but I didn't want to hurt your feelings because I figured I was going to say, well, Eli
I consider borderline elite.
I mean, you can't spell elite without ELI, so.
Exactly. Yep, there you go.
So, I mean, technically. But, he wasn't. He was great, but he wasn't elite. So you don't necessarily need an elite quarterback to win. Now, the other question, we're going to kind of flip it to the New England Patriots side of things now. And it's Drake May obviously had a great regular season this year, but he went through a very, very rough stretch in the postseason, ultimately fell short in the biggest game of his career.
It's almost as if I said that last Friday.
Well, a little bit. But here's my question. Did this postseason run change the way you view him in the long term, or is it an overreaction?
No, it's an overreaction.
You don't look at him any differently?
No, I don't.
After that?
I don't, because...
Well, what's the way that you look at him now? What do you see when you see Drake May?
I see, because if I remember correctly, last Friday I said I think Seattle's going to win only because Drake May is going into the Super Bowl as a rookie quarterback, and the lights are shining on him the brightest, and he will crumble under the pressure. Now, he has experience. He's only going to get better from here. I do think that if they make the playoffs next year, he will be a lot better than he was this year, only because he knows what to expect in the playoffs now. Mm-hmm. This year, he didn't. It's nothing like college playoffs. I don't even think he made the playoffs in college.
No, he definitely didn't.
Exactly.
And North Carolina, no, he didn't.
No, I know he didn't. I think if I'm a Patriots fan, I am not worried or concerned about Drake May being a bust at all.
No. Here's the way that I'd put it, though. I said I think it changed the way I looked at him a little bit because there were a lot of people, including, analysts and stuff, that said that Drake May was a top 5 quarterback or proved that he is a top 5 quarterback.
I don't think he's top 5.
Now, hold on. What it changed in my eyes, to me, is where he's at in his career progression. I think that he was, like I mentioned, he was already in conversations as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he was considered as an elite talent. I think he is, and he still has the ability to get there, but he was definitely a little bit ahead of schedule. I think that, like we mentioned, they did have a little bit weaker of a schedule. It was a benefit for him, but he still came out and won the games and played great, but I think that you kind of look at the O-line, the way that they played during that game. Obviously, it did hurt him a little bit. And I think that a shoulder injury also was kind of affecting him as well. But I think that, like I said, he's already made a lot of big steps in his career. I just think that he's not elite yet. There were people that were saying, if Drake May wins the game, he's already considered as an elite quarterback. And it's like, listen, that team had a lot more wins based off of the fact that their defense was stellar and they had the coach of the year and the assistant coach of the year on the same team. I mean, Drake May, again, very good. Did he deserve the MVP this year?
No.
No, he did not. But he was he was efficient. He was very good. Did he deserve to be in the MVP conversation? Yes. Did he deserve to win it? No. And like I said, I kind of look at it right now. Do I think he's a good quarterback? Absolutely. Do I think he's got a bright future? Absolutely. But do I think that he's already an elite quarterback in the NFL? No. He's got a little ways to go before then. He's close, but he's still got a little ways to go before. And again, Seattle's defense proved it. Houston's defense kind of proved it. Denver's defense proved it. All the defenses that he played gave him some real trouble. Now, granted, again, like I mentioned, the O-line really didn't help him. Will Campbell was banged up. And he obviously should not be a left tackle. He should be a left guard. But
I agree.
But I think with him, I think it's a little bit much of a reach for people to already say that, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Is he top 5? No.
Definitely a reach.
Oh, I know it is. Is he top 5? Absolutely not. The top 5 in the NFL is solidified. Solidified. You already know what the top 5 is. I probably don't even have to tell you. Mahomes, not in order. Not in order.
Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, Allen. Let me think. Herbert? No, not Herbert. Not Herbert. No, Stafford.
Thank you. I'm wearing his. That is the top 5. Is Herbert? Well, I said Herbert now. God damn
gotcha.
It. Stop it. No, the top 5 is Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar, and Stafford. Those are the best 5 quarterbacks in football. That is set in stone. So people were already saying, Drake May is one of the best. No, he's not top 5. He's not.
Hall,
He very well can be down the line.
No. He's very good right now.
He is very good. But people were already putting him in elite category. And it's like, okay, hold on.
Kind of reminds me of what people were saying after C.J. Stroud's rookie year.
Yeah, but you know what? At least he did it in his second year. His rookie year, he was good, but he wasn't that good. The second year, he definitely made a big step. C.J. Stroud went really good rookie year and then has gotten worse and worse and worse every year. To be honest, who it kind of reminds me of a little bit, in a sense, is Trevor Lawrence. Had a little bit of an ugly year, has slowly started to get better in each and every year. That's who I would probably compare it to. Because his first year was not pretty. Not at all. So, following that, he has slowly gotten better. I think that he takes another step next year. I think that he'll be very good. I also think that the Patriots are going to address multiple issues they have. Obviously, right now, Stephon Diggs is in some hot water.
Very hot water.
So I don't know if he ends up coming back, but I would not be surprised if maybe A.J. Brown is on the market and they try and trade for him. I wouldn't be surprised if they go out and try and sign like a guy like Mike Evans. I could potentially see them going after a few free agents or guys that are on the trade block to bolster their offense. I would not be surprised.
So, one thing you said, which I want to bring up because this is just plain out stupid, downright stupid, and never should have been done. You are down by more than 14 points, and there's around around 2 minutes? Or it was under 5 minutes left in the game, and you get a first down, and Diggs proceeds to spin the ball and celebrate the first down.
Yeah, Chase Claypool 2.0.
Chase Claypool 2.0, exactly. Why would you do that? You're not even up. You're down.
Yeah, he's enjoying his last celebration that he'll have on an NFL football field because I don't know if he's going to be playing for anybody after. God, that happens every week. Every week now.
Yeah, he might be going to jail.
I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, no, they're definitely going to have to address that wide receiver issue at some point.
The best player on the Patriots wasn't even on offense.
No. Their best player was Christian Gonzalez.
He played one hell of a game.
Oh, he did. And their worst player was on offense, and that was Will Campbell. Wow. Now, granted, I know that Will Campbell was hurt. He was playing with a partially torn MCL. I get it. But he set the record for most pressures allowed in a single playoff game since 2018. That is an issue. And he, like we've said, he should not be a left tackle. He needs to be a left guard. He has very little reach. He's a big boy, but the reach is not there. It's not in his favor. So he's going to get exposed by guys that could just breeze right past him. He's a good, listen, obviously we know he's a rookie, so it's going to take some time for him to develop just like it does with any other player, but I definitely would consider them moving him to the guard position. I think that would be much more beneficial for his career.
It would be way more beneficial for his career.
I think it would be much better for him. And obviously, I will cut him a little slack with the injuries, but again, he was a big reason why the Patriots offense got exposed. I mean, Lawrence blew past him like 4 times and bullied over him multiple times.
Now, I'm going to say this because when Lawrence left Dallas and signed with Seattle, Micah Parsons said something about that on Twitter, saying,
at age
what
like
happened to no, it didn't age like milk. It aged like wine. Perfectly fine.
Oh, no, I'm saying what Parsons
When Micah
said.
Parsons said something about, what happened to being Dallas faithful, blah, 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 blah. He goes, I'm not going to win a Super Bowl with Dallas. And then Parsons said, you're not going to win one with Seattle either.
What? No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
is that part aged like
Micah
milk.
Parsons' words came out, and that aged like milk.
That was horrible.
And then after the game, DeMarcus Lawrence went back and responded to it. He put it
yeah.
and he said, what now, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, the other one that I will touch on before we close out the show is
Puka Nacua
was Ernest Jones and Puka Nacua going back and forth.
Puka Nacua was hammered.
Well, he was, but the other thing that a lot of people don't realize is if you go back to the time frame of when he sent that Sam Darnold tweet out with the laughing emoji.
Yeah.
Do you know why he sent it out?
No.
Sam Darnold was on his back after a play, and one of the Patriots players went to go try and pick him up, and Darnold moved his hand out of the way and goes, "Get out of here!" And the Seattle his teammate came and helped him up, and Darnold was just shaking his head at the Patriots guy. So he was laughing at Darnold just ignoring the help up and being like, "Yeah, get the hell out of here." But they thought that he was laughing at Sam Darnold for winning a Super Bowl, and Ernest Jones got all bent out of shape. Now, listen, Ernest Jones won a Super Bowl with the Rams, and I was very appreciative of him, but he's another one that needs to shut his mouth. He does. He's been talking a lot of talk, a lot of smoke coming from him. And to be honest with you,
the fourth.
he didn't even really do anything. It's not like he's done a crazy amount. He wasn't one of the feature players on that defense. It was their secondary and their D-line, not the linebackers. He didn't do squat.
That's true.
So the fact that he wants to run his mouth, he's still butthurt that the Rams traded him to Tennessee. That's why he's upset. So enjoy your little Super Bowl, but maybe you should kind of read the room and understand the context of why Puka sent that out. Obviously, he was defending his quarterback, and he has every right to. But again, if you look at the time frame, it wasn't because Sam Darnold won at all. Though, to be honest with you, I thought he was going to chirp at Jared Verse because Jared Verse got interviewed, and he says that he hates the Seahawks more than any team in the NFL. But he has nothing to say about that. He wants smoke with the guy that's going to get a $40-something million a year contract in the next couple of seasons. So let him run his mouth. Let him run his mouth. We're coming for the throne next year.
Another thing, right? Once his career, I'm talking about a different player on offense. Once his career is over, I fully expect Cooper Kupp to become an offensive coordinator.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
He would make an awesome offensive coordinator.
Yes, he would.
And he's shown it with the last 2 to 3 years. Look what he did to Puka. Right?
Yeah.
And then look what he did to JSN.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just that, but also the other reason why I think he'd be a great offensive coordinator as well, too, is there is a famous clip of him that went viral.
After him winning Super Bowl MVP?
No. After they scored a touchdown against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he was saying, it was a 3-deep fire zone, and we saw the safety come off the edge, and I knew that I had to just bust through and cut across the mid. He was explaining the play, and a lot of people were like, what the hell is this guy even talking about?
Yeah, but he did the same thing after the Super Bowl, too.
He did something similar after the Super Bowl, but the guy is just an absolute football guru. But to be honest with you, you know who I think has a lot to do with that?
Sean McVay.
Bingo. He's got a photographic memory and remembers exact plays and games from when he was coaching for Washington. So it goes to show that guy is a freak of nature too. But I really hope Cooper Kupp does become a offensive coordinator. I think he'd be fantastic at it. I think he could be a great mentor for a lot of young wide receivers, even if he's just a wide receiver coach.
Yeah,
I
like
think
that
he'd be great.
That would be great.
So it'll be interesting to see. I hope maybe the Rams would bring him back and let him become their offensive coordinator, even though it's looking like right now that I think the guy's name is Nate Schlesinger or Swashinger is our new offensive coordinator.
I thought it was going to be Cliff Kingsbury.
No, Kingsbury is the head of operations for offense or something like that. He's the oversight offensive coach or something like that. That was an interesting hire. I couldn't even remember Kingsbury's name on the podcast last week, and then the minute we get off the air, we get an announcement that says Rams in agreement with Cliff Kingsbury to bring him on as part of their staff, and I'm going, that's a great hire, especially after they lost LaFleur the week prior. That was awesome. But again, we'll kind of close it out here with this.
Well, before we close it out,
yeah.
Sometime during the week on our socials, there's going to be a promo post that has the phone number set up. So
yeah, we were trying to do it this week, but stuff happened, so we'll
make a post about the phone number, and I kind of briefly explained it last week, but we'll just go a little more in depth now because we have a few minutes.
A couple minutes, yeah.
What we'll do is we'll have y'all call into the phone number and leave a voicemail. We won't have anybody directly call in on air at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future we'll look into doing something like that. But we'll have people call in, leave voicemails, and then me and Zach we'll listen to them. We'll figure out which ones we think are good for that week.
Yeah, we're probably only going to pick a couple.
And we're probably going to pick like one or two per episode.
Yeah.
So if you don't hear yours get picked, that doesn't mean we're not going to go back and use it next week.
And let's keep it professional. Obviously, I know I got a couple friends. I know you got a couple friends that may want to call up the hotline. Let's keep it real here, okay? We don't need to go crazy. You don't need any profane or vulgar stuff. We're genuinely just trying to have a little sports talk and want to hear your input as well as maybe answer some questions that you may have or address something that you may want to hear from us. So we will post that at some point. I'm glad that you did bring that up as well. Another thing that we will mention is for a lot of people that do not know, we are on YouTube, we are on Spotify, but we will also now be on iHeartRadio, Apple Music, as well as Amazon Podcasts. So if you have not checked out any of those channels, or if you check us out on YouTube and Spotify, that's awesome, but you could also check us out on any three of those as well. Obviously, we do have our TikTok and Instagram, which we should, post a little bit more. We had some stuff come up in the past few weeks, but we will start getting around to posting about that. But that being said, thank you guys for tuning in to the Straight Outta Stratford podcast, episode number 32. I'm your host, Zach.
And I am Julian.
And we will see you guys next week.